Hey, this is Wes with JConcepts. Today we're going to cover part 2 of the Mugen MSB1 with 10 skilled two-wheel drive buggy tips and tricks. Just went racing with mine last weekend, and I've gotten a few races in with it this winter, at least on carpet. So far, really happy with the buggy. In part 1, we may walk back on some of the advice that was given there. You know, that's just the reality of developing a setup on a car. You know, your opinion changes on certain setup things. So anyway, before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to the guys at No Pro RC and Steve. You know, bounced a lot of ideas off them. They actually went racing the other week and had some pretty good results. So we've been kind of bouncing setup stuff back and forth, and you know, learn a few things from each other. So Steve, appreciate all the help, and all the other guys at No Pro RC. And anyway, so I had pretty good results last week, and I brought home a few trophies, so that's always good when you can bring home some hardware. So anyway, we'll talk about some of the things that I changed last weekend, and what I found was helpful, and you know, some of the things that I didn't like that I tried. So anyway, let's get started. So the first thing I want to cover is tire saucing methods, and this is really just for carpet applications. So at my local carpet track, we actually use SXT 3.0 tire sauce. What you're going to need is, at least what I like to use, is a microfiber towel first off. You'll probably want a car stand and your buggy, obviously. I like to use a latex glove to kind of keep sauce off my hands. And then this is just a JConcepts dirt tire sauce scrubber. Works really good. I've had it for years, so definitely pick one up. Nice little scrubber. Or you can use a toothbrush too if you don't have one of those. So what I like to do is I put my buggy on the car stand, and then about 10 minutes before my run, I will go ahead and put a very light stripe, and I'll show you how I do it. But you basically will shake up the bottle, kind of mix up everything, pick up the cap, and then I just run it around the top here to kind of get some of that excess sauce off. And then I'll just run a thin stripe right down the middle of the tire, just the rear tires. Once I'm done, close up my cap. I'll go ahead and get on my latex glove, and then I will scrub the sauce in a circular motion all the way around the tire. Whatever's left over residue that's on the scrubber, I will use that on the front tires, and then I'll repeat for the other side. So after that, set a 2-minute timer with your phone, 2 or 3 minutes, depending on, you know, if it's new tires, give them 3 minutes. If it's tires you've already had some dope in them, then give them just 2 minutes. And after that, go ahead and wipe off that extra sauce off your tires, or whatever hasn't soaked in already, and then let it completely dry before you get on the track. So usually that only takes, you know, 3 to 5 minutes from that point. So in total, about 10 minutes before you run, and that's plenty of time. So anyway, hope this helps, and move on to the next one. All right, the next thing I want to cover is body options available for the MSB1. Now, I don't have them all here. There's actually a raw speed body as well. I think it's called like a Dark Star. So definitely check that one out. But what I am going to compare today are the Mugen kit body, and we'll take a look at the weight, as well as the JConcepts. Now, this is a lightweight version, but it's the F2. They both look really awesome. You know, just initially what I was thinking is maybe the Mugen kit body is probably something that's a hybrid where you could use it on carpet or dirt with that vertical fin stabilizer, and more of that really cap forward look would be good for some of those higher grip surfaces. And it's also very durable. The only downside is it's kind of heavy. Also, this is just the standard weight. I think the lightweight one would probably be very similar in weight to the JConcepts option. So looking at the JConcepts option, you can see it's kind of low slung. It doesn't have that centering fin down the back. It's not as cab forward, but you can see that there's just a little bit lower profile and more of a rake to that windshield. So anyway, driving characteristics wise, I felt like the kit body is just a little bit more stable, especially like in the air. You know, I think probably on dirt this could be like the favorable option, maybe. I don't know, I haven't tried both back to back, but I know on carpet, at least in the spec buggy classes, I actually prefer this F2. I think it just has a little bit more rotation, and you know, also being a lightweight body, the lighter weight I think is beneficial in the spec classes. So let's take a look at the weights. All right, let's take a look at the weights of these two body options. So this is the standard weight Mugen kit body, painted up by my buddy Josh at Delicious Designs. Check him out. He's on Facebook and Instagram. Awesome painter. So anyway, this came out to 38 grams, and it's not thick paint on here. Josh usually lays it on, you know, pretty smooth and thin. So I think that's probably a reasonable weight for a body. Looking at the JConcepts F2 option, this is the lightweight one. It comes down to 27 grams, so it's about 11 grams lighter than the kit standard weight body. So take it for what you will, and see what you guys think. You know, you could just pick one based on what you think looks cooler. But, you know, in my opinion, I think that the JConcepts F2 is probably the best option for carpet surfaces. And it's still to be determined for the dirt. So at some point we'll be trying it on dirt and comparing the two bodies back to back and see which one's better. So one of the biggest things I experimented with last weekend as far as setup goes would be the Diff Oils. So I came in from last time I was at this particular carpet racing facility. This is Alpha RC Raceways in Carbondale, Illinois. I ran 80,000 in my rear diff, and I thought I had the perfect amount of rotation and traction, considering it was a new track build and a little bit lower grip at that time. As the grip came up, the buggy started to show signs of instability, and that's pretty common. What you'd see with any type of surface as grip changes. You need to also change your setup, you know, in line with the grip level on the track surface. So what I had found was the 80,000, it just was a little bit too, I guess for lack of better words, sketchy to drive. Just wanted to kind of snap over rotate a little bit. So looking at the buggy up close while I was driving, watching it, it didn't seem like it was a weight transfer issue. The buggy was actually cornering pretty well. It was just cornering too fast. So to slow that down, what you can do is go up in Diff Oils. So I tried, I was kind of, the guys at No Pro said, oh, you know, you need to try the 2-gear 200,000. I said, all right, well, I'll go ahead and get some and you know, we can try it out. But I was a little bit leery of doing that because that's a really big jump from 80,000. So I started at 100,000 and tried that. And, you know, it was a little bit better than 80,000, but there really wasn't like a huge difference, I thought, on the track. So I went ahead and switched to 200,000, and it was like a huge difference. At first I didn't like it because the buggy basically had a lot of push to it, then it would want to snap over rotate, and I think a lot of that was because the diff wasn't preheated. So what I do recommend, and this is the next tech tip, is you need to preheat your diff if you run a gear diff. So how I do that is you just hold the buggy in the air, hold it by one tire like such, and just give it a light amount of throttle on your transmitter for like maybe 8 to 10 seconds, just very light amount, and then switch to the other side and repeat the process before you set it down on the track. This just ensures that the diff is consistent throughout a run. So one thing I found is like it's usually like 12 to 15 laps in or so, you'll notice the buggy has a lot more rotation. A lot of that's just because your diff's warming up. So if you can preheat before the run, it just stays consistent the entire run. How thick a diff oil when you should start doing this? I mean, in theory, you could probably do it for any viscosity of diff oil. It was just mostly noticeable at the much higher viscosities, like 200,000 or maybe even 100,000. So try it yourself, see what you think. All right, that wraps that one up. If you could do me a favor, please like and subscribe this video, share it, you know, and comment. All that helps get me into the algorithm, and it's definitely, as I said before, you know, it's motivating for me to make these videos for you guys. And yeah, I really appreciate all the support, and until next time, thanks.